Hello, world. I go by the name of Joffey Joe, and this is my show. Call it how I see it. And yes, I took a brief hiatus last week as I spent time with my family during the holidays, and we had a great holiday. I'm glad to see my family and reconnect with them. Beautiful thing. But I'm back, and I'm here to talk about a couple things, okay? And those couple things include public health, also a take on pedophilia, and also just a straight up take about Eagles football. Yes. So, let me get into the first thing I wanted to talk to y'all about, which is smoking in Atlantic City casinos. Woo! Why would I be talking about such a thing? Well, it is a public health issue if we all don't want to agree or not agree with it in terms of money and every politicianal game that comes with this. However, there is a vote that's going to go on tomorrow, which could be monumental, right? Okay, so there's going to be a vote at Trenton tomorrow in terms of whether or not you can smoke in an Atlantic City casino. And there is a lot that comes to this. But the most first and foremost thing is the public health issue with this, okay? So, New Jersey and this great country of ours is one of the states that is leading in health crisis in New Jersey. So, first and foremost, if this type of ban was to be implemented in an Atlantic City casino, this would help the issue a little bit in our state. Just one small minor detail I wanted to throw out there for y'all. But I did want to say one thing before I get into detail about anything else. I am thankful for my job. I am grateful for the company I work for. They help me survive. They help me do what I need to do on a regular basis. And overall, I am happy and content with my job. I am. However, I would find this, if this were to happen and pass through law and legislation, I would find this to be an amazing luxury for my work environment because I deal with this on a regular basis. I deal with people who do not care about my health. I deal with people that just have no regard to anything going on in their world other than themselves. And I understand that this is what I signed up for, right? And that's why I say smoke or no smoke, I'll still be there. But like I said, if this does pass, it would be an amazing luxury that I would take with open arms. I mean, I think everyone in our environment that works in our departments and throughout the whole city would agree. So, I did want to say a couple things. Okay, first of all, this isn't the 1920s anymore. Okay, this isn't Boardwalk Empire. This isn't we pull out a smoke and put. No, this isn't like that anymore. Okay, this isn't. This is the new world. This is the 2020s where we're in a world where there's studies and research behind with doctors that really care and know what they're talking about. That realize that this is a big health risk and minus whatever the fraudulence and paid people at Atlantic City Press want to implement in their article saying that secondhand smoke doesn't cause any cancer or any heart disease or anything else that I didn't really want to finish reading about. The studies are out there, and tobacco companies will even admit this. Okay, so I just want to say that shame on you, Atlantic City Press, for being bought out and writing an article saying such stupid things like that. Right? Shame on you. Okay, so in 2006, right, there was a bill that passed. And this bill was called the New Jersey Smoke Act of Free Air Act. I'm sorry, the New Jersey Smoke Free Act, right? And in this act and bill, it prohibited in most workplaces, except for casinos, and public indoor areas, such as bars, that it would be prohibited to smoke indoors. Okay. And this was implemented in casinos. However, it only lasted 3 weeks. And it only lasted 3 weeks because, according to revenue numbers, there was a major decline in revenue. But this is also comes in a time where Pennsylvania was beginning to open casinos as well. So the landscape on the eastern seaboard started to change. Atlantic City felt pressure, and within that pressure, they felt they cracked, and they couldn't hold this up. And on top of that, they felt that they needed to make things back to what they were. However, Atlantic City suffered through a recession, and on top of that, it never really recovered until the past couple of years. Okay, so I just want to implement that smoking really didn't change much there. I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so in this bill, it did implement something in terms of casinos since things did change. Okay, it did implement that casinos were only allowed to have 20% of those patrons take up the floor and smoke. So 20% of the casino area is supposed to be smoking, right? But I think most of us that watch us, that is watching me locally, would agree that if you were to walk through an Atlantic City casino, no matter which casino, would show that that 20% is an invalid percentage. Totally invalid. In terms of the gaming area, in terms of the hotel area, in terms of everywhere on a property of each casino, they would show that. Okay, I think we would all agree on that. Okay, so with that being said, if we focus forward into 2018, right, there was another bill that was passed that implemented that you cannot smoke in public parks or even beaches, right? So you can't smoke outdoors, but you can still go puff in your disliked blackjack dealer's face, right? Only in New Jersey, because if you were going to look across most of the eastern seaboard where other casinos are popping up, most of them are non-smoking, and most of them are still pulling in a big profit. Okay, I also want to point in fact to what happened after COVID. Okay, I was put in a work environment with shields, and I was also put in an environment where I had to always wear a mask or even a shield on my face in terms of whatever game I was dealing. And after that, the numbers shot up. The profits, everything, revenue, everything in the casino department went up. And it was incredible. It was busy. It was jamming. It really was. But my thing was there was no smoking. So in today's world, almost a year after or a couple months after, our governor lifted the smoking ban and let people smoke again, right? And each year, quarterly, except for that last quarter and a couple other quarters, there has been a profit in each casino, okay? So they want to thank that on smoking and other reasons involved. However, New Jersey is only one of 13 states, including Washington, D.C., so really only 12 states, that allow smoking in their gaming facilities, right? This new bill that has been languished in legislation and is being voted on tomorrow has many sponsors in both the Assembly and Senate, including South Jersey legislators such as Vincent Palestina, who support their casino constituents in their quest to make a work-free smoking environment, which is fair and it should be done. In this new bill, Atlantic City casinos will have garnished almost 50 sponsors and co-sponsors in the Assembly, including Assemblyman Alex Squawky, who signed on Thursday, and at least 25 those in Senate. Notably, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin and Senate President Nick Scurruti have not joined this legislation as sponsors, and they control the docket for most of the voting sessions that will be happening on tomorrow. Senator Joseph Vitale of Middlesex County, and who is also the Senate Health Committee and chairman and chief sponsor of this bill, is an absolutist on casino smoking. He rejects compromises such as higher pay for workers exposed to secondhand smoke or isolating casino smoking sections. Okay. He also reiterated in quotes, casinos already deploy powerful ventilation and air filtration systems to clear the air. These cannot be amendments. Okay. And proposing them is just really offensive. And shout out to you for having our back. All right. The Association of New Jersey commissioned a report released in 2022 that said smokers account for 21% of gambling revenue in Atlantic City. Smoking gamblers are also profitable for casinos than non-smoking because they tend to lose more money than spend on gaming items and non-gaming items. Okay, I just want to reiterate something right there. I think that stat is baloney. Total baloney. A big piece of baloney that I would never eat because it's not true. Honestly, like how can you implement someone that smokes compared to somebody that doesn't smoke? I think it's just a made up stat to prove a point, and I'm not with it personally. So, on top of that, I did want to iterate that smoking is a big issue here, okay? It may not be a bipartisan issue, but it is a very political issue, and that's why it's being voted on tomorrow, okay? State government and many New Jersey programs get substantial funding from our casino gaming, okay? And protecting this revenue has had political support. Now politics seems to be swinging in favor of a uniform smoking ban that doesn't exempt casinos. Maybe just enough to push it through during their lame duck quote. So, basically, tomorrow there's going to be this vote, and on top of this vote, there's people that really probably don't understand casinos that work in casinos on a regular basis. They are just playing a money game in terms of revenue, and they need to really wake up because this is a big issue. Also, in terms of expenses and cleaning, I think this would help out a lot because all the extra money that is being put on materials and other things to clean after smoke and mildew and even that clog up the air filtration systems need to be put on notice because this is a big red flag, and overall there has been a lot of those that have been affected by secondhand smoke and smoking alike. Overall, no one likes getting smoked on. So I wish that this could pass. I think it would help me at work a lot more. This isn't a cry for help. It isn't. But like I said, I look at this more as a luxury. And if this was to pass and go through finally, I think this will do a lot of good. I don't think it's going to affect the numbers. I really don't. I think a lot of those numbers that were generated through an article were biased and opinionated to an extent to prove the point of having smoking in a casino, which is not fair because there wasn't another fair argument on the other side. So, minus whatever the Atlantic City Press wants to say, or union leader Bob McDevitt of Atlantic City wants to say, whatever, overall, smoking is a hazardous thing. And like I iterated before, in decades to come, I don't believe smoking will be a thing. Really, I think tobacco companies already realize that, and those that want to still implement this and affect other people's healths don't really care about other people. They just want to play the money game and soak up as much cash as they can, which is wrong. But that's why I'm here to call it how I see it and tell you how I feel. But at the end of the day, like I said, I am grateful for my job and I am thankful for my job. Smoke or no smoke, I will be there. But like I said, this would be the ultimate luxury if there is no smoking in casinos in Atlantic City. And that's what I got to say. Hey guys, I'm back. And I just want to dive into the second thing I wanted to talk to y'all about. And that second thing I wanted to talk to y'all about is Josh Giddey. Okay, so yeah, in case y'all aren't familiar with Mr. Giddey here, he is under investigation by not only the NBA, but also is under investigation by the Newport Beach Police out in California. So, what could have Mr. Giddey done to be in such a situation where he's under investigation? Well, Mr. Giddey is an up and coming basketball player from Australia, formerly of New Zealand, as I believe. But he is under investigation for having an inappropriate relationship with a 16-year-old girl that goes by the name of Liv Cook. There has been videos and photos that have been put out on social media of the two. In one of those videos, he reiterates to her own brother that this is my girl, and he forcibly showed that in both photos and videos. However, there is no public display of affection in any of these videos. There is also no sexual misconduct done in any of these videos. However, that is why there is an investigation being launched and details to be discovered about this investigation. Overall, Mr. Giddey here has created such a distraction for his up and coming team. And I would like to think that there's an impending suspension or some type of reprimandation of his actions in this place. However, there's still a lot of things that are unknown here. Okay. But back to the social media posts that were put out there. In these social media posts, it showed a man who appears to be Mr. Giddey with a female that appears to be Miss Liv Cook in photos and videos, but it is unclear where and when these were taken. The person who originally posted these images deleted them, and not before many of those that caught wind of this were able to save them and question these. The images began showing up on social media around Thanksgiving, and everything came to light that same day. The league has responded and reiterated that they will be conducting a thorough investigation on Mr. Giddey. Giddey's currently under situation is become a big distraction. It has. It's a shame because his team is playing very good basketball. However, anything that he has been doing on the court has been overlooked by this entire situation. He continues to not have any type of response or has any comment about this situation to the media. His coach has also done the same without any comment and believes that the NBA will handle this accordingly. Overall, there is a lot of red flags in this investigation and this story. One thing I wanted to say that Mr. Giddey does have going for him is that the alleged girl, Liv Cook, and her family are not cooperating. They are not cooperating with authorities. They are not very cooperating thoroughly with this investigation. They want to keep things on the hush, which raises a lot of questions, raises a lot of eyebrows as to why. If there's nothing wrong being done here, that raises a bunch of red flags. However, they're entitled to do so, and if they continue to do so, I think it will only continue to raise more questions and eyebrows about the whole situation. If there's any truth to this at all, I believe that it will come out. And I also believe that Mr. Giddey will be reprimanded in the future about this whole situation. Um, I'm not sure about the laws in Australia or New Zealand. However, in America, I think it's been put clear to him that anyone that's under 18 should be off limits. So, whether it's fun or any casual type of get together or anything, I think what should have been done here was a more careful conduction of oneself in a situation such as this. However, um, this could tarnish his legacy. He's been 3 years in the league and he's been balling. He's a baller, and like I said, he's helping this team become a good team. But without him there, the team will lack and it will suffer the consequences of him not being on the court because of his actions. I do think this will, if he is reprimanded in this way, if will put him in the same light as Karl Malone, as most social media has been flaming him up on. If y'all are not familiar, Karl Malone is a great all-time NBA power forward. However, it has come to light that Karl Malone, at the age of 20, was seeing a 13-year-old girl at the time while he was in college at Louisiana Tech. And he impregnated this 13-year-old girl and did not raise this child and was sued for it, however, won the case and wiped his hands clean of the whole entire situation. So situations like that kind of go full circle when it comes to Josh Giddey here, international star or not. Overall, I think you just got to move better, bro. Honestly, like, you should know better, and who you are, you already have a target on your back. So why would you want to put yourself in a situation like this? Why not just be more careful, as Chandler Parsons was iterating today to Fox News? Just be more careful and be more vigilant about the way you move and who you are, honestly, because if this type of thing is something that you are doing, this could also affect other people, not just Miss Liv Cook in this situation. So overall, whether or not you are paying her family to not say anything and her to not say anything, this whole situation it stinks. It doesn't smell good. And I mean, we're all waiting to hear it. But personally, to keep seeing you play on the court, I think you're just creating a more distraction for your team. And I understand the part of you having to be there and do your part. But overall, I think you've done a lot of damage here where you should probably take a step back and really try to, prove your innocence in this situation if you are innocent. If you are not innocent, then you will face the consequences that come with this, because this is different. The laws of this land are different than maybe what you are accustomed to in your country. So overall, this could be another story that ends too quickly because of a poor judgment and decision by a young player that should have known better. And overall, that's just the way it is, and I had to call it how I see it. So controversy aside, I'm here to just talk about football. And I'm here to talk about the 49ers versus the Eagles, right? Niners, minus 3-point favorite against the Philadelphia Eagles at home, right? Does that really mean anything? The Eagles were a minus 3 favorite, minus 2.5 favorite against the Chiefs away from their home. So does that really matter? I don't really care. But I do want to call out a set of clowns over at ESPN. The ESPN FPI analytics group, or whatever trash garbage that Disney's paying over there. You have the Eagles at the 7th ranked team, right? the seventh ranked team, even though they're 10-1, minus all the they've been losing yards of possession to the other team, and they've been having to come back and do all. Yo, honestly, you guys are trash, bro. That's what Disney pays y'all for. Honestly, there's good people that got fired and laid off for y'all to come out with stupid garbage like that. Wow, wow. Honestly, forget it. Forget what anything you guys have to say, because honestly, it doesn't really matter at all. Honestly, I just want to throw that out there right now. But let me dive into this game that everybody's been waiting for this year. Okay, like Hassan Reddick said, line that shit up. We're gonna line it up, but as we line it up, we are missing a couple pieces. We're missing possibly our linebacker, possibly our all-time great defensive tackle, possibly one of the best right tackles that ever played football, and we're missing a top five tight end as well. Okay, so that's a lot to overcome here. Um, so the Niners don't like us. They're jealous. They're mad that they didn't go to the Super Bowl because their quarterback got hurt on a freak accident type of play. Whatever. Fuck you guys, honestly. I wish we were healthy because this kind of smells the other way. And I also won't lie, I think the Eagles are kind of due for a loss. But minus everything on paper, you still have to play the game. And if y'all don't remember correctly, last game that we played the Niners in the NFC Championship Conference game, right before halftime, right around the 2 minute warning, it was a 7-7 game. Then the Eagles did score and it became 14-7. So overall, their secondary, right? Their secondary held us in check. Jalen Hurts didn't really pass the ball very well last game against the Niners. Even last game against the Bills too, but he didn't pass the ball very well against them. He only passed for each pass attempt. He had about 4.8 yards passing. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith combined for 6 catches and 64 yards on 11 targets against Cardavius Ward and some guy named Lanier. Okay. I do want to point out, though, that the Niners will be without their all-pro, pesky all-pro, I might have to add, Hufanga, right? Who tore his ACL getting juked out of his socks, which is kind of pretty funny. Because, honestly, you talk too much shit, bro. It's kind of karma. But also, the 49ers will not have D'Amico Ryans calling plays, which could be an advantage for Brian Johnson if he wants to wake up and actually be a good play caller and actually show the whole league that he can be a head coach in the NFL. It should be interesting. Last year's matchup, D'Amico Ryans had the 49ers line up in the nickel for about 75% of the play option, for the 75% of their play calls, because the Eagles do line up with 11 guys and like to run the ball for the most part. So we shall see what Mr. Wilkes does if he does implement this nickel package without Hufanga stacking the box. It could make things a bit more difficult because the Eagles like to control the line and, push the line to control the line of scrimmage. So we shall see. Losing Javon Hargrave was a big loss, and it seems to prove dividends for the Niners this year. Also adding Randy Gregory from the Broncos, and also trading for Chase Young, who played with Nick Bosa at Ohio State, will definitely help their cause as well. I definitely think it will keep Mulata and Lane Johnson, who is recovering from his groin injury, on their toes. So that is definitely matchups to keep an eye on. The Eagles ran the RPO really great last week, like against the Bills, like really great. Also with Jalen Hurts auto-bowling into quarterback draws, recognizing that there was cover zero and the blitz was coming. He found the right hole and ran through it, especially on that overtime touchdown to win the game. There was a couple plays where that didn't work, but I think he'll figure that out more. Um, this isn't Sean McDermott's defense. This is a different personnel with a different group of guys. So Jalen Hurts needs to keep them honestly. I would love to see DeAndre Swift get the ball And when I'm saying get the ball, I would like to see him carry the ball with over 20 touches. Not just catches, but I'm talking about touches because he needs to catch the ball. I'm sorry, he needs to run the ball. He needs to run the ball and run the hole. And the Eagles need to set the tone because honestly, that is our bread and butter, and they get away from that a lot. And overall, DeAndre Swift has proven that he can stay healthy, and with Gainwell there, it helps spell him out at situations. But overall, I think this is the game where you really need to use DeAndre Swift like you did in the first, second, and third game of the season, because after if Swift can get past that second level of their front seven, it will prove dividends and it could even lead to big runs. Swift did have a good game last game against the Bills where he was able to get to that second level and carry the ball and get more yards, and it showed a lot. And the Eagles need to use DeAndre Swift because that's what they traded him for. That's what they traded him for, and that's what they need to do. Honestly, it's just the formula is there. No matter what team they play, they need to do that. Their offensive line is healthy now. Everybody's there. They need to do that, and they need to punch these guys right in the mouth. That's what they need to do. Um, I would love to see short passes, quick throws. I'm talking about slants. I'm talking about drags. I'm talking about in routes. I'm not talking about screen passes. I am not talking about screen passes because the screen passes have not been really working. I understand the idea of the yak under behind each screen pass and everything, but it takes too long to develop, and the defense clearly, at least the other defenses, have clearly caught up and recognized when we are running screens. I would like to see more of that and just get rid of the ball quickly so you don't have to deal with Bosa and these other guys coming after you because they will come after you. They will. Um, One big red flag I've noticed, and not just from last week, but most of all season, the Eagles need to wrap up and tackle. Honestly, I mean, you're playing Debo and Brandy Ayuk, which are two bigger receivers. Okay, so Slade this year is missing tackles at a career rate. That's not good, and also could lead to future offseason moves because of production like this. I also want to reiterate that James Bradbury, he has a career rate of 10% missed tackles, which is very fucking high and very alarming that I never knew about. Bradley Roby, a great addition, maybe a good addition, and a good nickel corner as well, but he missed two tackles last week as well. So I just want to see you guys wrap up, even if you have to gang tackle them and take them down. Do whatever you have to do, please. Just don't let these guys get yards after the catch, because if they start doing that, it will start opening so much stuff, and you guys are going to be on the field for too long. You're going to tire out and not want to do anything anymore, and it's going to cost us, honestly. Linebacker, it will be an issue. I mean, we haven't been coming in this year. Linebacker was a shaky idea. Zach Cunningham, I believe, is still leading the team in tackles, but if he's out with a hamstring injury, I don't trust this kid Christian Ellis. I really don't, unless he wows me in some type of way. Nick Morrow, not very good at coverage. He could have gave up a touchdown last week against James Cook, but luckily James Cook didn't catch the ball. So we shall see. I do expect more nickel lineup from our end as well because of our lack of linebacker depth coming into this game. Especially if you have to line up against George Kittle, which would make it harder because you're going to have to put Kevin Byard more in the box or even Reed Blankenship more in the box to cover this guy, which leaves the open field wide open. There's a lot of strategic moves that can be done here. Overall, I think Brock Purdy has had this game circled on his calendar for a while. Ever since Hassan Reddick had blew out his elbow, I think he made the right decision by getting the Tommy John surgery. I mean, he looks even better than he did last year. Personally, I have to give it to him. I've been calling him Croc Purdy, but honestly, he's not a croc. He is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, and I will differentiate that because I think he just runs the system of Kyle Shanahan to the maximum level that it can be ran at. Um, Kyle Shanahan is a bit of a quarterback whisperer, and I think he found the right way to use Brock Purdy and his skill set to make this offense flourish in ways that other quarterbacks couldn't do, especially with the play action. having McCaffrey back there and faking any type of handoff to him just keeps the defense on froze. So we shall see. Um, I'm like I said, I'm not denying that the Eagles are banged up. It's going to be a little bit to overcome here. Um, I would love to really see us at 100% because I think they're more healthier than us, minus missing Hufunga. But overall, um, we still have guys that can step up and do their thing. Jack Stoll had a good game last week. Um, I just we really need a great collective effort here to really beat them. And my I believe the spread is more set the way it is because of our injuries and because of way things have been set up for us right now. I do believe if San Fran pulls ahead, I think it will be too much for the Eagles to overcome and pull back. I don't think that San Fran is on the same level as Kansas City or Buffalo. I think San Fran, if they have a lead, they're going to control the lead and not give it up, and they're going to smother their opponent like they've been doing all year. So overall, we can't get behind. Um, if we get behind, it's going to smell for disaster. I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be a blowout. I think it could still be a close game. I think we could fight, but overall, we have to pull ahead and control that lead to the best we can. Because if we can't and we have to control the clock. There's a lot of elements to this game that we have to do, and we really have to bring our best game, which we haven't done yet. But I really hope if we're to bring our best game, this is the game that we bring our best game, minus the injuries and everything involved here. Because otherwise, if we can't do that, they are going to beat us. But I do want to point out something really big here. If we do lose this game, I'm just saying if, I don't think they beat us again. No matter if we play them over in San Francisco or we play them back in Philly in the playoffs, I think that we will beat them the second time around. I do. And I think this is more of a revenge game that they have circled, and they want to prove to the world that they are on the same level as us, or if not better than us in their minds. But minus all the trash talk and everything involved, I think a lot of people need to step up. I definitely believe the wide receivers need to step up and do a better job here. Um, I, I'm not wowed by their secondary. No matter what they did against us in an NFC Championship game, I think we should be able to overbear them and beat them. I really do. So it's something we got to keep an eye on and monitor moving forward in the future. So, and that's what I gotta say. And good luck to the birds.